In last week's episode 8 teaser, there was a focus on a row of 8 books, with a subsequent shot focusing on a single book, leading many to speculate that what was shown was the Journal of the Whills. But what exactly is the Journal of the Whills, and why would its inclusion in the teaser have an important impact on the upcoming film, The Last Jedi? In this video expose, I will explain what the Journal of the Whills is, the evidence that exists for why one would conclude that the teaser did in fact show it, and finally, the ramifications that would exist for Luke if it is in fact the Journal of the Whills that has come into his possession. To understand what the Journal of the Whills is, let's start with a description of the journal as it was seen within Legends. In Legends, the Journal of the Whills was kept as a legendary record of galactic events. It was maintained and preserved by an organization known as the Ancient Order of the Whills. The Ancient Order was comprised of mysterious individuals who were deeply connected to the Force, with some of these individuals becoming holy men known as Shamans of the Whills. In Legends, it was through one of these shamans wherein Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn learned the secret to manifesting his consciousness after death in the form of a Force ghost, wherein it was accomplished through love and compassion. But getting back to the Journal of the Whills as depicted in Legends, the journal was a collection of recorded stories that documented the history of the galaxy. Although it belonged to the Ancient Order, the responsibility for maintaining and adding new material to the journal fell upon an individual known as the Keeper of the Whills. It was through one of the Order's keepers that the story of the Skywalker family and the events surrounding the Galactic Civil War became recorded into the journal through information provided to the Keeper by R2-D2, 100 years after the Battle of Endor. Originally, in the earliest drafts of Star Wars by George Lucas, the journal was to act as a plot device, wherein the journal would act to connect our galaxy to the Star Wars galaxy. That is, the story of Star Wars was literally to be recorded and then told through the Journal of the Whills. Fortunately, this amazing piece of Legends lore has made it back into the canon, having been recanonized initially through the Force Awakens novelization. Having only recently been developed within the current canon, very little is currently known regarding the Journal of the Whills. However, we do know 2 verses from the journal, the first having been included in the Force Awakens novelization, and the second within Aftermath Empire's End. The verse within the Force Awakens novelization states, "First comes the day, then comes the night. After the darkness shines through the light. The difference, they say, is only made right by the resolving of gray through refined Jedi sight." A similar 8-line verse appeared in Empire's End, stating, "The truth in our soul is that nothing is true. The question of life is what then do we do? The burden is ours to penance we hew. The Force binds us all from a certain point of view." But is it possible that at least one of the works depicted in the Episode 8 teaser is in fact the Journal of the Whills? And if it is, how did Luke come into its possession? I believe that Luke came into possession of the journal through his connection with the Church of the Force. In the second previously mentioned verse from the journal, as depicted in Aftermath Empire's End, the verse had been recorded and was being listened to by a member of the church named Adar. It's clear that the Journal of the Whills, and particularly this verse, held important meaning for the church members. It was the journal's reference to perform penance that was particularly meaningful for the members, as it was this requirement to pay penance, since they, along with every living being, were all children of the Force, that pushed them to undertake a doom-from-the-start pilgrimage to return kyber crystals to the planet of Christophsis, that resulted in the death of 5 church members, including Adar himself. The fact that the Church of the Force came to understand and follow the tenets found within the Journal of the Whills is important, as the connection between the journal and the Church also creates an important connection between the journal and Luke. Luke was intimately connected to the Church through Lor San Tekka, who in addition to being a seasoned galactic traveler and explorer, was also a member of the Church. It was Tekka who helped Luke recover secret lore that the Empire tried to destroy following Return of the Jedi. it would be completely reasonable to assume that the Journal of the Whills was one piece of lore that Luke would come into contact with through Lor San Tekka and the Church of the Force. But there are also some pretty amazing visual connections within the shots that were seen in the teaser that connects the depicted works to the Journal of the Whills as understood in Legends. First, we see that there are 8 books on display within the teaser. The fact that there are 8 could be a connection to the fact that within Legends, the journal told the story of the Skywalker saga and the story of Star Wars. Therefore, the 8 books could be a visual representation of the 8 films in the current Skywalker saga, therefore having a connection to and giving a nod to the concept of the Journal of the Whills within Legends. Further, the symbol on the single book, following the shot containing the 8 works, closely resembles the symbol and imagery on the earliest movie posters for A New Hope, wherein Luke is shown raising a lightsaber to the sky with a strong glow emanating from it. Again, this would be a visual nod to the intended role of the journal within Legends, the literal telling of the Skywalker saga dating right back to the beginning, and create a connection between the Journal of the Whills and Legends and that which now appears in canon. But even if it is the Journal of the Whills that appeared in the Episode 8 teaser, why would this be important to Luke's role that will be seen in The Last Jedi? I won't rehash every point that was made in the previous video, but if Luke has come into contact with the journal, it would very likely result in Luke using its teachings to break away from the Jedi conception of the Force that utilizes only the light and deliberately avoids everything associated with the dark. In combination with Luke and Rey's words from the teaser that the balance between the light and dark is so much bigger, the Journal of the Whills would be the perfect complement to Luke's conclusion. The initial verse that recanonized the journal in the Force Awakens novelization alludes very strongly that the philosophy of the Jedi must evolve to include an understanding and commitment to both the light and dark sides, whereby the Force is a single entity. I don't believe that it was a coincidence that upon seeing the 8 works in the teaser and then the transition to the single book, that we heard Yoda's quote to Luke from The Empire Strikes Back, wherein Yoda is heard saying in the teaser, "surrounds us and binds us," clearly referring to the Force. I believe that Luke's discovery of the Journal of the Whills will in many ways result in a change to the Jedi approach to the Force that started with Yoda. Although Yoda hadn't completely given up his Jedi understanding of the Force by the time of the original trilogy, believing strongly that Anakin could never be redeemed, he does appear to be much more philosophical in the original trilogy than in the prequel trilogy, and understand that it's the Force that's his ally, and it's the Force that surrounds and binds all life, not solely the light side. But I believe that in finding the Journal of the Whills, Luke will be guided down a new path in Episode 8, one that will refine the Jedi approach to the Force, and work to create a true balance between the light and dark sides. So there we have it, what the Journal of the Whills is, and why it could come to play a crucial role in Episode 8, The Last Jedi. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for penance.